You are listening to Insights with Kathleen. Please join me while I share my insights and experiences with the hope to inspire you to look inside of yourself for the answers that you already have. As with all information we receive, take what speaks to you and leave the rest. Hey, welcome back, everyone.
What's up? Second take. Let's go. We had technical difficulties on our first one.
Yes, we did. So, again, welcome back, everybody.
Hi.
We like to say that.
We do. We like the consistency.
Yes, that's it. That's it.
So
Sherry, I got a question for you.
Okay, you got a question for me. What's your question?
I do. So there's all of this stuff that's happening in the world, and I have people who reach out to me and are really concerned with everything that's happening.
Right.
And there's different levels of fear and anxiety around it. Have you had that experience?
Yes, I have had that experience, actually. I mean, I work on the newspaper at my school, so when this news story broke, everyone was talking about it, and they were all in a panic or in fear. So that was kind of dominating my club. And then my class, I do a political science class, I think, so we talked about that. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I do have a family member who is really anxious about it and concerned that, you know, this is going to escalate into the Third World War and, oh my goodness, we're all going to die.
Right.
And this person is just like beside themselves. And, you know, there's only so much breathing a person could do before they hyperventilate.
For sure.
Faith.
Valid point. We don't want you guys to do that.
Mean, like I know in episode 7 of this
Right.
season, we did talk about inner peace, and I still do. I do encourage you to go back and listen to that.
For sure,
we
it's a
talk
good
about
one.
breath work and how to center yourself, because with the constant changes that are happening out in the world, it's always good to try and find your center.
For
right?
sure, yeah.
But how do you really navigate those level of changes,
right? Because there's
that
a lot.
happen all around us, right?
Right?
So it's not just there are macro changes, and then there's the micro changes and whatnot. So I think the first step is to recognize, and I love the saying, you know, is this something I can change, or not, right? So if it's something you cannot change because you don't have the power to change it, or you don't have the influence to change it, then that's an opportunity to step back and let that go. I mean, we can certainly send love and light and all of that, and prayers, or, you know, whatever it is whatever ritual you have to help support others in a spiritual way.
Yes.
And then come back to, okay, what can I do? What can I control? What's within my privy of control? Right.
Yeah.
And you focus there.
Okay.
So it's kind of like breaking it down. So yes, all of these things are happening in the world. People are losing their minds. People are behaving in such ways that you just maybe can't comprehend.
Right.
Like,
for sure.
Why are they behaving this way?
Yeah.
Right? But the difference that we can make, and we've said this in previous podcasts too, it's a ripple effect.
Right.
That if we can just give a smile to somebody, then they're passing it, and then they're passing it, and it's this whole big ripple.
Yeah.
But when we come back to that change could be scary.
Yes, I could, yes.
Yeah?
My hand is up for that. That is scary.
You want to elaborate?
I mean, well, change being scary, yeah. Sometimes I'd be a little resistant to change, and, yeah.
Yeah, because when things are changing, you don't know what to expect, right?
Right. And you're trying to, for me, I know when I'm going through a change, I'm like, oh gosh, I have to plan so far into the future. And then I just get overwhelmed, or it's just like a whole swirl.
Right. And the reason that you're looking out far in advance to make these plans is because you're trying to anticipate some level of change. But then when you're planning out so far and getting overwhelmed, and then all of these other changes are coming in that's messing up the plan, and then you're like, my head's going to explode. Right?
That was beautiful.
Thank you. I would think like I've lived this once or twice.
I love that.
So what I found for myself, I mean, it's really weird for someone to say, oh, I love change. Nobody really loves change.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we're all resistant to change at some point, right?
Of course. But in change, there can be this renewal. In change, there could be new opportunities. And I think for me, in navigating certain change, I found that if I can look at it like it's a magical being like this magical thing's about to happen, and trust that I'm going to be okay. And I think sometimes that's really what it takes,
hard, yeah.
right? It's just to keep telling yourself, you know what? No matter what happens, I'm going to be okay. No matter what happens, I'm going to be okay. No matter what happens, I'm going to be okay. You know,
you're okay, guys. Everybody's okay.
You really are going to be okay, because change doesn't really kill us. It's different.
Right. It is. It is.
And you know, it's kind of like when you look at, let's look at Microsoft, right?
Oh, wow.
So Microsoft, every time Microsoft upgrades their Windows platform, they're changing something. And what a pain in the butt, right?
Yes.
So I don't know about you all, but working, like when I was working in an office, you know, I'd get into a rhythm. I knew where everything was.
Right.
I knew exactly where to go, and I could probably get there with my eyes closed. And then Microsoft would go ahead and upgrade that Windows platform. And the next thing you know, they're changing stuff, and they're eliminating things that like maybe I was using all the time.
Right.
And now like, what the? Right.
Exactly.
And then it's frustrating because now here's a change, and this is jamming me up, and now I got to figure this out. So I could resist that and cuss it and be mad at it the whole time and just have no fun.
Right.
Right. Or I could say, all right, well, that's disappointing, but okay, let's see.
Right.
Let's make a game of this.
Right.
You know, what can we discover? What's in there, you know? And then it's about getting into that new routine. So then when you get into the new routine, then you start feeling safer and you start feeling more comfortable, and then things just start rolling.
Right.
Right. So if we look at the changes that are happening in our lives, whether they are the broad changes in the world or the changes here within our own personal world.
Yes.
And if we can look at those changes with a sense of magic or awe.
Right.
You know, like, okay, all right, Kathleen, you're just so full of crap. Like, what are you talking
She's
about?
so
This
full of
change, this
Yeah.
change sucks. Like, this is painful. This hurts, you know?
Right.
I'm going through a divorce. What are you talking about?
Right.
Or
right.
I'm going through a breakup. Like, how could that change be fun and
Right.
magical? You're just hooey.
You're just a bunch of hooey. I know for me, the biggest one is like when I would be going through change, and I just, learned this recently, just acknowledging like, you know what? Yeah. This is a change, and you're going to be okay. Because I think a lot of the times I'd be like, this is a change and something bad's about to happen. I'm scared. This is new. Like, what am I supposed to do? And I feel like I always have to have it all figured out already. So that would always stress me out a little bit. But yeah, just by living day by day and being like, okay, this is a change.
Yep.
And I'm okay.
And it's changing perspective, right?
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, you knew that was coming.
Oh, gosh.
So... You know, when we start labeling things and we lock ourselves in.
Right.
Right. So that makes change a little more difficult.
Yes.
So if we're going to label change as something that's not good,
right,
then we're already setting ourselves up for that resistance, for that, angst,
right,
for all of that anxiety and whatnot. So, but what if we relabel change as something neutral?
Yeah, that's a good word
right?
to say. Yeah.
Or what if change is about making something better? Why does it have to be worse? Why couldn't we just dream that it would be better?
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. I guess for me, even like even I would talk on the phone with you, right? We talk a lot on the phone. And I guess sometimes I will be going through a change and I'll view it as maybe negative. I'm like, I thought I was going to have a magical day, but then I brought up something from my past I didn't want to bring up. And you're like, wow, what a cool opportunity for you to grow and learn more about yourself and heal that part of you. And I was like, oh, I'm like, what? And then after examining, so I'm like, okay, this was not how I expected the magic to happen, but I am really glad I was able to acknowledge this piece from my past and get healing from it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So for anybody who is going through a breakup, or anyone who is going through a divorce, or somebody who's losing their place of residence, or whatever that thing can be, or the family's breaking up, whatever that is, please know that there is a ray of sunshine on the other end.
Yeah.
These are things that do need to break down in order to build you back up.
Ooh, wait, what? Can she elaborate on that? Can you elaborate on that? What's that mean?
So you know what? I think we need to back up a little bit, right?
For sure.
So we need to set the groundwork of knowing that. And this is something you have to remind yourself every day because we're so programmed in a different direction. But do know that the universe wants nothing but the best for you.
Oh.
You are so loved,
Oh.
so very loved, and the universe just wants to deliver what you want.
That's nice.
Okay? What are you talking about, Kathleen?
What do you mean?
That doesn't
I have
mean
rotten
anything.
luck.
Well, that's a whole other topic about how you request what it is that you want, and I'll give you a little
episode.
yeah, I'll give you a little peek into that. Always focus on what you want, not what you don't want.
Someone told me the opposite once, so
yeah. So you always want to focus on what you want, because that's where the universe is going to go. If you focus on what you don't have or what you don't want, then the universe thinks that that's where you want to be.
Because you're professing that more than the stuff you actually want.
Exactly. Like, for example, like money's a big thing, right? People are like, I don't have any money. I want more money. I want more money. Can I have more money? I want more money to do this.
Talking out their nose to you like this? I don't have any money. I need some money. Yes.
Right? So the money never comes because
Right.
the universe is receiving that vibration, because that's what you're putting out, your feelings, because that's how you feel about money.
Mm.
And that's a vibration, and the universe is picking that up because that's the language that the universe receives is vibration.
Right.
You're feeling. And it says, oh, okay, well, that person likes to have no money, so we're just going to keep them there, right? So then you're in that endless circle of, I want more money, I want more money, can I have more money, I need more money, more money, right? But if you shift it, change it
Yes.
to saying, wow, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so grateful to have enough to pay for this. I am so grateful to have enough to pay for this and enough to still save. I am so grateful to still have it, even if you have nothing.
And it's great because you were teaching me about like a little bit with that, like how you're requesting things. And I know, like, I grew up as a Christian and everything. And you're always, when praying, it's always like kind of begging, like, if you could just please spare me like $5. And it's kind of like in the lack area. So I do like this of like, I'm an abundant being and like.
Yep. Yeah. And when you step into that gratitude, right? I know it seems like so weird, but try it. Play.
It's fun.
Right?
I've done it.
It's a change. So try it. Play.
Try it. Yeah.
And see the magic that happens there, because then what happens is you start feeling lighter about it. Money's not a bad thing.
No.
It really isn't. It's not bad to have money. It's not bad not to have money. It's just a thing. It just is. It's an exchange of energy. So, but back to change. Excuse me. So change is kind of the same thing. So you want to focus on what it is that you're hoping the change is going to bring for you.
That's a good one. That's a big one.
So sometimes it sucks, right? Here you are.
For sure.
But, so that's where I was going. So I apologize. My train skipped tracks, but now we're back.
Yay!
So the universe, knowing that the universe always wants to provide for you.
Right.
That if we're not paying attention to some of the signals that are coming at us from the universe, then the universe will force our hand. And that's where like some of those bigger changes come in that maybe we're a little resistant to, because we didn't venture or risk the change when we had a little inkling or we saw the writing on the wall.
Oh, for sure.
For example, my sister, love her dearly, right? Mm-hmm. She's in a job that, though she loves the work, she doesn't necessarily like where she is.
Yeah, okay.
And the environment, right, of where she is. And she didn't want to make certain choices, but then she did. Right. And she resisted it, but she just went in and did it, and she's still in this place. But what's going to happen is, even though she knows it's time for her to go,
right,
and she's not initiating that, though she's already said it several times, that she knows, I gotta go somewhere else. I just gotta go somewhere else. The writing's on the wall for her, so she's already saying, I gotta go somewhere else. I gotta go somewhere else. But she's not advancing in that direction. Right. So what will happen is something like either they'll run out of funding and her job's eliminated, or she'll get fired. Right. Yeah. So either way, the universe is going to move her because it's time for her to go. Yes. Right. So please know that when these drastic changes that face you, I bet you if you reflect back, you can see other signs that these were coming.
Oh, for sure. that happened to me like at an old job that I had because, I was a cashier. I was like, oh, this is fun. I'm getting good money. And for a while, I was like, I think it's ready. It's time for me to go. And just a situation happened that forced me to be like, oh, you know what? It's time to go now. But I'm glad that happened because I already wanted to do that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But that kind of just gave me the push to do so.
Right. And then there's probably other places in your life you could see that.
Oh, for sure.
And then those who are listening, I'm sure that you can think of things and think about it. Think about those times when that change was forced upon you and you had no choice and you had to go or move or change or, make this change, right? And then I bet if you were honest with yourself and you went back and you reflected back on the events before that,
yes,
you could see all the different signs that were kind of pushing you, and they may be like tiny little signs and subtle, but they were pushing you in a direction that you just weren't moving.
Right.
So the universe moved you.
Yes.
All right. So what's happening in the world? I mean, there's a lot of things that are happening in the world. There are transitions overall.
Right.
Like last week we talked about planets and stars.
Right, we did.
And those influences that it has on the earth. Well, the earth itself, there's a place where the earth wants to be because it's an energetic being.
Yes, it is.
And it's when we talk about vibrations, those vibrations are happening. So all this swirl is happening around us. And yes, it could be very scary if we don't understand what's really happening.
Mm.
So we're going to see more and more of these big drastic things come up. We are. So please be ready for that. But don't be afraid of it.
Right.
You're going to be okay.
The universe loves you.
Yes. No matter what happens.
Right.
No matter what happens.
Right.
It's all part of the plan.
Yeah.
And we as human beings, we may not always understand that. And that's why the fear rises up in us. So if we have a little bit of that understanding that change is inevitable.
Right.
If we look at the universe, if we look at nature, and we've talked about this before, it's cyclical. Did I say that right?
You did. Cyclical. Yeah.
I usually trip all over that word. So it is, and it's constantly moving. It doesn't ever really stay. So it just it stands to say, boy, I just cannot form that sentence.
You said the last word right.
Woo. I guess that was it. I'm up with my quota. I'm
funny.
done. I'm done talking right. But it just stands to reason is what I was trying to say. It stands to reason that change would constantly be happening all around us, us, and it's about respecting that and flowing with it and looking for those magical opportunities. Because it doesn't always have to be bad.
Oh, for sure. It doesn't.
Because with change,
you could grow.
You can grow.
That's a big thing.
Yeah. A lot.
Yes.
And who knows? Maybe you'll become overly abundant and happy. Like, oh, really? Can you imagine just being happy?
Being happy is fun, guys. It's it's fun.
Yes. So if you are afraid of everything that's going on in the world, if you're afraid of the change, I do encourage you to definitely, discern. Is this a change? Is this something you can affect?
Right.
Like, can you influence this at all? And if not, let it go.
Yes.
If so, well, then take that opportunity and go ahead and do something towards the kind of change you want to see.
Right.
Right. Take care of yourself. Remind yourself you're safe and you're well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you feel that, all right, this is a little shameful plug, but not that it's shameful, but this is a little plug.
Plug it.
So here's the thing. We, even in our own government, there's things that a lot of people complain about.
Yes.
Right?
For sure.
That's fair. And there's a lot of changes that happen in our government. And a lot of times we feel like that's happening to us.
Yeah.
The thing is, we can influence that.
Oh, for sure.
We need to write to our senators and our congressmen.
Yes.
I don't know that people do that enough.
You should.
So every time you hear somebody complain about it, hey, you should probably write your congressman or your senator.
Yeah, they receive those.
They do, and they read them.
I personally heard from one of them, and they say, yes, I get my mailbox, and there's a lot of stuff in there.
Yes. So the government, that's us. Mm-hmm. We are the government.
Ooh.
We pay the taxes. We are the government.
That's fair.
Right? So like anything that the government's proposing out there that that they're like, oh, free medical. It's not free. We're paying for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Their raises. We're paying for it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So any money the government's spending, that's our money.
That's our taxes.
So I encourage you to make some changes there.
For
right?
sure. That's
Why
definitely
not?
something you could do. Yeah.
Definitely. So that's empowerment, right? If
That
you
is
don't like what's happening in the world and you don't like the decisions our government's making, write them a letter.
Write them a letter.
Get your
vote,
friends to write them a
do
letter.
that stuff. Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
All right. Sherry,
Kathleen.
does this make you feel any better?
Right, dear Senator. Do you feel better? No, but yeah, you answered it entirely in its fullness, and I think that's really cool. That's such a cool perspective you got with the fear piece and everything. So
yeah, and just to circle back just for another minute, if you guys don't mind.
Sure.
Is, when you get overwhelmed, kind of like how you were sharing, right? Change is like something that you're uncomfortable with or were uncomfortable with.
Yes.
So you would plan way out there, which then is anxiety inducing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I encourage people to not go so far out to where you're inducing a level of anxiety within oneself,
Oof. Yeah.
but to pull back into the present, practice breath work. That's episode 7 if you're really curious.
She's like, that's the shameless plug. Episode 7. Listen to it.
And bring yourself back to center and just remind yourself, you know what? I am safe. I am loved. I am well. I am safe. I am loved. I am well.
That's a good affirmation to tell yourself as well.
Yeah. And then like if you get really scared of whatever change you're going through, if you're getting anxiety or even depressed,
right?
I am safe. I am well. I am loved.
Right.
Okay. Thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you guys have a really good one.
See you guys next week.
Bye. Thank you for tuning in. Remember that you are bigger than anything that you are going through or anything that is happening around you.